Leclerc was on top in free practice 1, first place on the timesheet, but ahead of him Lance Stroll, and there was a crash. Lewis Hamilton flying with the Ferrari, in this case with all 4 wheels actually off the ground. Leclerc in front again in FP2, which was marked by 2 red flags, Hadjar and Oscar Piastri. It's Friday with cars on track. Ferrari, as you can see, running well. But it's unclear how much of that will translate into performance in qualifying and the race. Speaking of the race, we know there's a special rule. 3 different tire compounds are required, so this weekend promises a lot. With the Indy 500, where Helio Castroneves is chasing his 5th victory, while Penske continues to be under intense scrutiny. So before you kick off your Friday, sit down so we can talk about everything. The local favorite in Monaco, Charles Leclerc, set the fastest time in the first session after encountering Lance Stroll on track and damaging his Ferrari, which even caused a red flag because he scattered car parts all over the circuit. In second was Max Verstappen, and third was Lando Norris. The sun was shining in the sky with beautiful and extremely expensive yachts in the harbor, paying up to 60,000 euros per day for a prime spot. That's what I call an expensive blue zone. 10 teams, 20 cars for what is the craziest race of the year, because whether you like it or not, putting 20 Formula 1 cars to run that close to those barriers never gets old. As Nelson Piquet once said, it's like riding a bicycle in your living room. And as expected, at 1:30 p.m. local time, 8:30 a.m. here in Brasilia, everyone was lining up to get out, because after all, every minute counts to fine-tune everything and figure out the best setup. But one thing we know about the setup is that everyone brings as much downforce as possible, with very steep wings, since straight line speed isn't the focus in Monaco. Lots of downforce is needed, and the softest rubber to grip the asphalt, so much so that Pirelli brought the C6, C5 and C4 range, soft, medium and hard, for this weekend. The range starts at 6 and goes to 1, or from 1 to 6. These are the 3 softest compounds. Right off the bat, there was drama with Leclerc locking up at the back in Mirabeau, the same corner where Nico Rosberg went straight on, accidentally on purpose in 2014, remember? But Leclerc avoided any damage, reversed his Ferrari out, and moments later would encounter Lance Stroll on track just below in the same section. But everyone is already blaming Stroll. It's worth watching the incident again and noticing that he was letting Antonelli by, who was on a flying lap, and when he tried to return to the racing line, the team didn't warn him in time. Leclerc came through and hit him, breaking the Ferrari's front wing, scattering debris all over the track, and Stroll got the worst of it because he damaged his rear suspension and gearbox, and he didn't run for the rest of that session. He had to change the entire rear assembly. At that point, Oscar Piastri was leading the timesheets with a 1:12.290 on soft tires. McLaren, Ferrari in the top 4 positions, and traffic was already becoming a problem even in free practice, with Gasly complaining and Verstappen absolutely furious on the radio. Leclerc then, with a new front wing, was the first to break into the 111s and take the top spot on the timesheets. Even so, he got on the radio frustrated, saying, "This car is going nowhere," meaning in terms of setup direction, it was kind of a "we're lost" message, indicating that Ferrari still has a lot of work to do. It was a festival of lockups, with everyone running straight at Saint-Devote, some in the swimming pool S's, and Hamilton was one who managed to avoid hitting Antonelli's Mercedes from behind by choosing to take the escape route, going over the sausage curb and launching all 4 wheels off the ground. That's certainly not the way he wanted to be flying through there. Piastri clipped the wall at turns 15 and 16 and headed back to the garage for inspection, saying, "Guys, I hit the wall. Better check how hard it was." Leclerc then stayed in first until the end with a best time of 1:11.964. Verstappen in second, 0.163 behind, and basically the same gap from first to second as from second to third, with Lando Norris at 0.326. Then Alexander Albon put Williams up there once again, and Oscar Piastri was 6th. Russell 7th, Carlos Sainz 8th, Pierre Gasly 9th, Hamilton 10th, Fernando Alonso 11th, Kimi Antonelli 12th, Nico Hülkenberg 13th, Isaac Hadjar 14th, and Yuki Tsunoda 15th. Tsunoda is running an earlier car setup because he damaged his new floor in that crash at Imola. So his car is fitted with the same specification Verstappen used in Miami. 15th is Bearman, 16th Ocon, 17th Liam Lawson, 18th Gabriel Bortoleto, 19th Franco Colapinto, and 20th Lance Stroll, who was the one who drove the least. Stroll completed 4 laps, while most of them reached 30, and some even did up to 34 laps. Let me tell you 2 important things before I start talking about the cars. The very first thing is that we are currently in first place on the Ibest list in the voting. And whose fault is that? It's yours, because you're voting like crazy, absolutely smashing it. So we went from 240 in the ranking to 48, then 29, 28, 12, 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and finally number 1. Amazing, right? Voting goes until the 13th. Let's see if we can qualify this week so I don't have to keep asking for votes for a while. But I'll leave the link pinned here in the comments box. Go ahead and vote for us. Let's make sure we get through to Q2. I can only thank you all. For about 10 days now, we've consistently been among the most voted, several times even in first place. Shall we climb back to first place among the most voted in the last 24 hours? It's all up to you. Overall, we're already in the lead. The second thing, as I showed yesterday, is that the Formula Collection miniatures have arrived here. Ricardo Zonta's bar, the Brabham BT52B with Ayrton Senna testing, and the Mercedes W15 that Hamilton used last year, which even won a race at Silverstone. All of them are provided by our partner Formula Collection. I'll leave the Formula Collection link down below in the description so you can check out the miniatures they have there. They are our partners, they supply us, and then we raffle them off to the channel subscribers, who also have a chance to win 3 books from Gulliver Publishing every month, always during the last live stream. The last live stream of this month is next Sunday, during the Spanish Grand Prix. So if you're a channel member, just come here and type "I want it" in the comments box, and Houston will filter everyone who is a subscriber and says "I want it." There's still time for you to become a member, and everyone, regardless of the plan, gets the benefit of watching videos at premiere, has priority for responses during live streams, and now there's also exclusive content for members, in addition to being eligible for the book raffles, the miniatures, and another partnership that I can't wait to announce, but I can't just yet. That's how it goes. It's our way of giving back for the support you give us. There are already more than 700 channel members subscribed, and whenever something extra comes up here, and whenever I sit down to talk with a sponsor, what I fight for with them, well, not fight, right? What I ask them for are giveaways to raffle off to you all. We've already raffled off tickets for Formula E, Porsche Cup, WEC, and the Mille Miglia. I don't keep anything for myself, especially because my wife wouldn't allow it, and I pass everything on to our community that supports us. All right, so that's it. Become a channel member, support this initiative, which is my full-time job and exclusive dedication, making videos for you about Formula 1 and motorsport in general. Let's keep going. FP2 wrapped up an almost perfect Friday for Leclerc, once again finishing in first place, in a second session that saw 2 red flags, one caused by Hadjar and another by the championship leader, Oscar Piastri. And it seems to be a consistent recovery for Ferrari because the other red car, Hamilton's, who had been further back in FP1, finished third in FP2. After the first sequence of laps, it was Verstappen who set the fastest time, a 1:12.922, and he got on the radio to complain about the upshifts, the well-known gear changes. And with 8 minutes into the session, Hadjar caused the first red flag by hitting the inside of the Nouvelle Chicane. Is that how you say it? He damaged his car quite a bit and asked the team, "Should I bring it back?" And the team replied, "If you can, it's better." So he dragged what was left of his Racing Bulls back. When the session resumed, Oscar Piastri improved his time and set the new benchmark at 1:12.548 on medium tires. And shortly after, he caused the second red flag by crashing head-on at Sainte-Devote, the corner at the end of the straight. A straight that isn't really straight. Galvão Bueno has already talked about this, the famous curved straight. He reversed, managed to get the car back to the pits, changed the front wing, and the session resumed with 35 minutes still remaining. Leclerc then took the lead with a 1:12.103, with Monaco winners Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton briefly occupying the top spot. But then Leclerc put on soft tires and set a 1:11.414 to take the top spot, and then went even faster with a 1:11.355, a time that no one else would beat. Piastri recovered from the incident to take second place, just 0.038 seconds behind the number 16 Ferrari, with Hamilton in third, a tenth off the lead, and Lando Norris in fourth, 0.322 seconds behind the leader. Then came Lawson, Hadjar, look at the Racing Bulls, and Fernando Alonso. Albon, Antonelli, and Max Verstappen rounded out the top 10. Right next to him, just 4 thousandths behind, was Yuki Tsunoda. That's not bad for him to show, but I already wanted to make an observation here. The 2 crashes in Q1 last week from Tsunoda and Colapinto were completely unnecessary. Colapinto had already set a time to advance to Q2. He crashed, wrecked the car, and was out for the rest of the session. Tsunoda crashed the car at the start of Q1, ended up 20th in a situation where, honestly, that kind of crash would be understandable on a lap fighting for pole in Q3, but not in Q1, where you just need to be among the top 15. He has more than enough car to do that. So as I said here on last week's live, Tsunoda at his best hasn't been better than Perez at his best. He's better than Lawson was in his first 2 races, but Red Bull wanted to replace Perez, and so far they've just swapped 6 for half a dozen. Oh, Rodrigo, are you missing Perez? Are you a fan of Perez? Are you getting paid by the Mexican government? No, I'm just explaining that looking at things objectively, even though I'm a fan of Japanese drivers doing really well, becoming champions and so on, that's not what's happening. Continuing, 11th is Tsunoda, 12th is George Russell, 13th is Sainz, 14th is Gabriel Bortoleto, 15th is Oliver Bearman, 16th is Hülkenberg, 17th is Pierre Gasly, 18th is Lance Stroll, 19th is Esteban Ocon, and 20th is Colapinto. While all this is happening, IndyCar continues to simmer with one of its main most prominent teams. Penske is frying in the pan. And there's also a story that has been explained in a very unclear and unsatisfactory way about Joseph Newgarden's car, which won last year's Indy 500, having the same irregularity as this year. And now there's a huge wave of speculation about a conflict of interest brewing, since Penske belongs to Roger Penske, who owns the series, who in the end pays the salary of those who oversee everything. In short, it's a big mess. All this just 48 hours before the start of the main race of the year for the American series, which, by the way, I'm going to watch. We'll all watch together. Broadcast live on free-to-air TV on TV Cultura with the wonderful Jefferson Kern doing the commentary. I asked him and he told me it's at 1:30 in the afternoon. Everyone tune in to listen to the commentary there. I'll send him my thoughts and we'll watch together because afterwards I have a live stream and we'll meet up here again. Let's talk about the schedules. Before I finish editing, here's the update. Lance Stroll was penalized with a grid position for the incident with Leclerc, and Oliver Bearman received a much heavier penalty of 10 positions for overtaking Carlos Sainz on track while the red flag was already out. When a red flag is shown, everyone has to return to the garage in an orderly manner, slowly, because usually this means, referring to the red flag, that there are service vehicles, rescue teams, tow trucks, etc. on the track intervening in something that has happened. Tomorrow, the third free practice session is at 7:30 in the morning and qualifying is at 11. Once qualifying is over, I'll sit here quickly and record the video, which should be out before the middle of the afternoon, commenting on everything that happened, right? Because, I'm just one person. And on Sunday, the Monaco Grand Prix is at 10 o'clock in the morning. And at 9:45, we'll start our parallel broadcast as a second screen on another channel. It's this channel, another channel, so now you have another channel to follow along. So for everyone who's been really upset since yesterday with the news that Band won't continue broadcasting, your problems are over. Because next year, if Band isn't around anymore, you can keep watching on Globo on free-to-air TV and listen to us here on another channel. Sunday, I'll be doing the commentary, Matthias Furlan will be narrating, and tomorrow after qualifying, you'll already find the fixed link for the live stream, which I'll set up in advance, plus a countdown post on Instagram stories and so on. No one misses out. Just come to our social media and look for it and you'll find it. Last week, we had the wonderful support of Giuliana Terrasoli, and I think she'll be supporting us this time as well. She's in Monaco on site, and I asked her, so Julian, are you going to work with us on the broadcast? She hasn't answered yet, but I'm hoping, right? Because it helps a lot. It makes things so much better. She knows so much, and she's there in person seeing what's happening. I'm so proud to have a partner of this caliber with us, and this only happens because you are the biggest Formula One audience in Brazil. You're the ones responsible for all of this. This week, on Tuesday, there's a video about the forgettable drivers in Formula One history. Names you don't remember anymore: Yannick Dalmas, Alan Berg, Pierre-Henri Raffanel, Andrea Montermini, guys who sometimes even had results elsewhere, but in Formula One went by like a rumor, a whisper, a sigh, a fleeting breeze. On Wednesday, there's a small but great story, obviously themed around the 500 miles, since Sunday is the race in Indianapolis. You can take the opportunity to watch it tomorrow, for example, during your Saturday afternoon or before the race on Sunday. Once the race is over on Sunday, I'll meet you back here at 6 o'clock. Of course, we'll also talk about the 500 miles. Can you imagine if 𝘾𝙤𝙥 wins for the 5th time? That would be really cool. All right? So leave a like, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and you know it helps the channel a lot. Do me this favor, do us this favor, because things only work out so well here thanks to our whole team's participation. I'm here on this side, you're there watching the videos all the way through, leaving likes, leaving comments, hyping things up. Tell me, will 𝘾𝙤𝙥 win the 500 miles? And could Bortoleto get really lucky on Sunday with this crazy 3-tire compound strategy? Tomorrow I'll talk more about that in the segment on what to expect for tomorrow about qualifying and so on. Don't want to leave your prediction. Let us know where you're watching from. Drop a little emoji just to give the algorithm a boost, and then it'll keep spreading our content all over the internet, so you don't miss out on anything we do here. You already know this, but it's always good to remind you, we have notification channels on Telegram, Instagram, and WhatsApp where you get an automatic message as soon as I publish any content or breaking news. And finally, our social media is buzzing: Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok, where there's content all the time. So it's Friday. You know what that means? Thanks. Big hug. It's Friday. Have fun, but be responsible.